understand that setting your goals is very important, but before that you need to understand
what is my goal.
You need to identify what are your goals, right? Then you will gonna set it. So how do you help people?
Not everybody needs a financial advisor and planner. Not everybody wants it, and we cannot even cater to all of them. You have all the money, you have all the time, and you have no liabilities and you have no responsibilities in terms of that I need to do this. So all of that is over. What's your plan tomorrow? What if I die too soon? And what if I live too long? Okay. So we need to achieve a balance between these two parts. Insurance is a scam. Or they will say, oh, this insurance agent just wants to sell me stuff. Maybe it's an estate planning product and you don't even need an estate plan because you don't have an estate.
Got it.
Right?
Where will you put like your will?
Again, in the risk management.
Where will you put first home, primary home?
In your wealth creation. When was the last time that you went to your family doctor and said, give me an amoxicillin 500 milligrams for 14 days? Or do you go and say,
okay,
I have a sore throat? You're maybe like going to even the biggest doctor from John Hopkins or like, the biggest like cancer research center in the world and say like, hey doctor, can you ensure that I will get no cancer? There's no doctor in the world who can say that to you. So right. There's no true financial advisor or planner who can actually come back and say to you, I can get you a 10% or 15% or whatever percent that you have in your mind as a growth, because growth is just one small strand of your big picture financial plan.
Harpreet Singh, how are you?
Very good.
Welcome again to my own English show, Chai with Chander, and I'm really happy to have you on my first episode on our a series of podcasts, and this is special series of financial planning, right? It's a big topic and it's a very confusing topic as well. I really want to thank you that you gave me time for my first ever podcast in the financial services in English on my show, Chai with Chander. Welcome again.
Thank you, and honored, very much honored.
Yeah, so as you were discussing, this podcast is going to be very basic and initial talk. As I was telling you, right, as a customer, right, if I'm going to talk to any financial advisor, so for my perspective, I will come to you when there is some problem or I need to buy a specific product, right, whether it's a term insurance or any kind of insurance. So, but I want to know your perspective, right? As a professional, as a licensed professional, what Harpreet thinks, what is financial planning?
Okay. Wow. That's a very good start. And I would definitely say the way I think of this is that I see the power in the big picture instead of trying to focus on a product. And it's super important because even if your need is of one specific product, but it's important for you to know where does that one specific product fit into my overall big picture life. So let's take the analogy of that you want to build a house, and you are the most excited about your ensuite bathroom, and your wife is the most excited about the kitchen. And I'm not stereotyping. It could be you are excited about the kitchen, she's excited about the bathroom. But now this one you can understand very well, that if you don't have a blueprint of the house, and if you don't have the basement or the foundation of the house, and you don't have the next floor of the house, what use is the conversation around the bathroom? Right. So is bathroom important? 100%. Is your kitchen important? 100%. But it will probably be more appropriate to talk about that at a certain stage of your building, at a certain stage of your design, right? So that's why I always say that take a step back, step away from the product, and focus on, first of all, the big picture, which is financial planning.
So today, actually, this is the big picture financial planning episode. What I say it. As you explained, do you think people doesn't even know the financial goals? Is it something you're trying to say?
I would definitely say that, because people think that they're talking about a goal, but again, they're talking about quick fixes. They are talking about that, okay, I'm buying a house. So I understand that now suddenly I'm about to have a 600, 700, 800,000, maybe $1 million mortgage. So now suddenly I feel that I have a need to buy a life insurance. So what is my need to buy that life insurance? So my need is that because I'm taking on so much of a liability, I'm now concerned, I'm worried, I'm anxious. So now I'm going and shopping around for a product which is, let me buy life insurance to cover my mortgage or my debt. So now, according to that person, this might be a goal. But this is a very small, short-term goal in the big picture of the financial plan again, right? So it's almost like that I don't care about my body on a day-to-day basis. I don't talk about my body on a day-to-day basis. And I only want to talk about that today I have a sore throat. Let me go fix it, and then I'm back, and then I don't care about my body again until I have the next headache or I have the next stomach ache. So you can imagine, of course, that's a strategy. Does this lead to a healthier person, or does the strategy that I want to care about my entire body and I want to see the big picture, and then I want to make sure that I'm actually taking care of my entire body instead of thinking about my sore throat?
I can totally correlate. Usually, when someone in our close circle dies, unfortunately, that's the time when we think about the term insurance, right? So, few days it goes in our mind, and we are ready to talk to the financial advisor about that. So, before we go deep into these financial goals, let's make it a little bit interesting. You deal with lots of people. You have so many clients, young clients, then different professionals as well, from different countries' background as well. Do you ask people what are their financial goals?
100%.
Okay, so what is the common answer you usually get?
Interesting. So I would say, if I speak with the younger generation, and when I'm saying younger, I don't mean to say just some 18, 20-year-olds. So
like
my
so age,
if I
right?
say 25 to 45, yes, you're still the younger generation. So 25 to 45, they're more tech savvy. They're more plugged into investments, markets, and they, I would say that they're definitely at that intermediate level of understanding. At least some of them could even be a lot more advanced level of understanding. But when you say what's the most common thing that I hear from people, it will be, so how much growth will I get on my investment? And I say, I don't know. Okay, will I get 10%? I have no idea. Because what you're again doing is that you're maybe like going to even the biggest doctor from John Hopkins, or like the biggest like cancer research center in the world, and say like, hey doctor, can you ensure that I will get no cancer? There's no doctor in the world who can say that to you. So there's no true financial advisor or planner who can actually come back and say to you, I can get you a 10% or 15% or whatever percent that you have in your mind as a growth, because growth is just one small strand of your big picture financial plan. And when you're focused on just the one pillar of the building, the rest of the building gets neglected. And that's the one part that people sometimes, again, uh, uh, you know, they don't understand or capture that growth is just one strand. You also have all the other aspects of planning. For example, a retirement plan. For example, my tax planning. For example, my estate planning. And on the top of that, or I should say on the bottom of that, at the very first stage, it's about risk management and risk mitigation. And now, if you ignore all of these steps and you just focus on that, oh, I want 10% growth, I want to beat S&P. Now, that's a very common thing that you'll come across. People will be like, oh, I want to beat S&P. Good for you. Go beat it. What do you want me to do? Right? Like, because you're basically making me, again, asking the same question that, hey, I want to make sure that I never ever get cancer. And hey, doctor, can you ensure that I never get cancer? I don't know. We can try. We can do every research that we have available, but can we guarantee that this person will not have cancer? I don't know.
Okay, that's quite interesting. In this 6-7 minutes talk, this is very clear that people don't know about the real essence of their financial goals, right? So I got my subtopic here. Let's break it down.
Sure.
So how Harpreet can help people to understand their financial goal. I understand that setting your goals is very important, but before that you need to understand
What is my goal?
You need to identify what are your goals, right? Then you will gonna set it. So how do you help people?
So I think it's about taking them or steering them in the right direction. Because again, and I say that even in my client conversations, I say that what is the role of a financial advisor or a planner in your life? So first of all, I have to say that the word financial planning, this is not something that you get a document from somebody after 4 or 5 weeks of wait, and they give you this document, and now that document becomes your Bible or whatever your religious holy book, and now you read this Bible for the rest of your life and you go to heaven. No, you don't. Because this is a process. So the word process is important. That's number one. Number two, it's an ever evolving, ongoing process. So this is an ocean. This is not a stagnant, stale, standing water, right? So that's the first and foremost important thing for people to understand, that financial plan is it's a process. It's an ongoing, ever evolving process. And you want somebody to be there in that financial journey with you. However, you could also say, I can just do it all by myself. That's perfectly okay, because I can definitely go on WebMD and figure out what's wrong with me. Even though the problem with WebMD is that every time WebMD is going to tell me that I'm about to have cancer, I already have cancer. But I can, right? I can do this all by myself. And there's a huge market for people who just want to do everything by themselves, and that's perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong. Not everybody needs a financial advisor and planner. Not everybody wants it, and we cannot even cater to all of them. I personally cannot. So back to the question, when you're saying, so how do you help them? So my role is almost like a GPS in your car, right? I'm not your driver. You're still going to be driving your car, right? But I'm just showing you that this is the most optimized, optimum way to get to these goals, right? Now, along the way, you may decide not to listen to the GPS. So what does the GPS do? It recalibrates and says, okay, so you took this turn, it's okay. Now we will find the next best route to get you to the goal. So that's one. Before the GPS, how do I actually even help them that where do you want to go? Because you don't even know. You say, I want to travel, but I don't know where I want to travel. I just want to go to this new place, but I don't know what the new place is. So some of those conversations are around what are your life goals? Because your financial goal is not detached from your life goal, right? What do you even do? What's important to you? Yourself, your family, your friends, traveling, maybe just relaxing, maybe chilling out, maybe playing golf, maybe doing things for the rest of the world and the communities, and so on. So, who are you as a person? That's the first and foremost important thing. Then, what is important to you in your life? Not financial. Financial is a mean to achieve those goals in your life, right? So, first, then we need to understand what's important in your life. And then we come to that point where we say, okay, so what financial goals would actually help you to achieve these life goals? And then we start going back to say, in order to achieve these financial goals, I need to do this. So, as an example, let's say you are that person who says that living a very good, lavish lifestyle is super important to me, but I have no intention of passing on money to my kids. Okay, I don't care. I will raise them well. I'll maybe pay for their education. I'll maybe give them a little bit of boost, but I have no intention of leaving $5 million for this person. So now you can imagine that out of all the different strands of financial planning, this person is not really concerned so much about the estate because they don't care what happens to their money after they're gone. Okay, so now you know that this is not an important part of their goal. So now I cannot really continue to focus on an estate planning for them. Of course, like, it'll still be a part of the plan, but I can't continue to focus on that. Now I continue to focus on maybe their health, maybe how can they achieve all what they want to achieve in the next 10, 15, 20 years instead of thinking about what would happen after they die, right?
Okay. Let's do a quick exercise. Let's see, I am that customer. I'm coming to you and I'm saying, Harpreet, we're going to do this, that. I want this profit. I have this of money. We can put it in investments and everything. But I'm not talking about the goals yet, right? So let's say you are asking me what are the financial goals and I'm not able to tell you what are my financial goals. So how you can how you can make me to understand my financial goals in a quick talk, like in 5 minutes talk.
So be very candid and honest. How much money do you spend right now in a month to raise your family?
Okay.
Yeah, you can give me a hypothetical number.
Let's say $5,000.
Okay, so $5,000. So with this $5,000, you are able to maintain and achieve a certain lifestyle that you're achieving right now. Okay. So in the next 10, 20, 30 years, do you see that this lifestyle will be enhanced, will stay the same, or will it actually go down?
It should enhance.
It should enhance. Yeah. Okay. So ideally speaking, you would like it to be enhanced.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So what does enhance mean to you? That right now, for example, if you take your kids to camping, or if you take your kids in a economy class to Mexico or Dominican Republic, what would enhance mean to you?
So for me, it means what the things which I'm not able to do right now, maybe because I'm busy in my work, so I don't have time, because I need to earn that much of amount to nurture my, to feed my family, right? To have food on the table and pay my mortgages, correct?
Perfect.
So probably I need some time, and then I need some luxury vacations as well for my kids, for sure.
Okay, so that's wonderful. So now you have all the money right now. You have all the money, you have all the time, and you have no liabilities and you have no responsibilities in terms of that I need to do this. So all of that is over. What's your plan tomorrow?
Okay. So probably the first thing I will do is I'll do at least like 2 weeks vacation somewhere on the beach.
Okay, so 2 weeks vacation.
I need not to work and I can be only with my kids and family. So that should be my first thing I'm gonna do.
Okay, and what else would you do when you come back from vacation?
Okay, so if I don't need to work, do you mean that?
Yeah.
Right. So if I come back, so probably I want to have some passive income, which can fund me to.
No, forget about income, because we are not talking. We just assume that you have the money.
Oh, okay.
You already have the money, so don't worry about the income.
Okay, perfect. Then I'm gonna buy a luxury car for sure.
Okay. So luxury car. So as you can see that in this process right now, I don't need to do much. You're answering all the questions yourself. So now you've certainly defined that one of the goals that you would like to achieve is to have that freedom where you can just lie down on the beach and have no stress of that, oh, I need to go back to work and I don't need to make any extra money and so on. And then you would like to spend money on a luxury car. So now remember that this is not just telling me about the goals, this is also defining you as a person, right? This is also defining you as a person, that what are the kind of things that can be important to you. So as an example, and I don't want to put you on the spot now for too long, because you have your audience there too, but this will mean that, for example, let's say now your third thing that you say is that, you know what, if I had no worry about the money and no worry about the time, then I would like to really focus on making a difference in, let's say, homeless people's lives in my city. Okay. So as we have this conversation, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers down, you're continuing to peel off those layers, and you're continuing to actually, like, reveal who you are and what's your ideal self looking like, and what are the barriers in front of you achieving that ideal self. Now, can I remove all those barriers? I don't know, because in the end, I can't give you money to do this, right? And the money is still going to come from you. So now, once we have achieved that, or once we have found out about that ideal, the ideal Chander, who this is who you would like to be, then we start working from backwards to say, okay, so in order to get that luxury car without having any thought of that, oh, how much money do I need, and without thinking about how much money do we actually need, so I can tell you that much, that it's definitely going to be more than 5,000, right? So now, let's say, Chander, you're 65 today. Let's say that's your ideal age that you would like to feel that I'm free. Maybe 60, maybe 55, I don't know. And again, you say, so now I say you are 55 today, Chander, and you have all the money that you need, and you want to do what you wanted to do. What does that look like to you? So now we find out that, you know what, in today's value, this might be $20,000 a month. And when I put some inflationary numbers in there and indexation for the next 20 or 25 years, that might mean it's $30,000 a month, right? So now we start working backwards to say, how do you generate an income of $30,000 a month for the rest of your life with indexation? And let's start working backwards on that. And the numbers, then it's pretty simple.
Okay, quite interesting. So, I mean, it again depends upon, person to person, right? What kind of life he's expecting. I would say we can categorize how he's expecting life in the recent future and then at the retirement. Both things are very important when you're doing financial planning. So let's do look at a bigger picture, how all these financial goals fit into a very big picture, right? So I was doing some research, and I had a Zoho Financials model as a print on me in here, like a pyramid, right? So I'm more interested to know about all these steps. Can you start with the basic step?
Okay. So the most basic step, Chander, is the question or the answer to the question, what if I die too soon? And what if I live too long? Okay. So we need to achieve a balance between these two parts. That's why when I see clients who are so focused on saving, investing, and I say, hold on, are you living your life? And I'm not your psych counselor, right? I'm not your some like spiritual guru for you to say like, hey, go, son, live your life. No. But genuinely, what if you don't have no tomorrow? What are you saving and investing this for? On the other hand, a lot of people, like I have conversations with, oh yeah, 65, I'm probably going to die at 75. But hey, let me reveal something to you. FP Canada is telling us right now to actually plan for 95, 97, even 100, because people are living a lot longer, right? Go look at the obituary of any funeral home. You'll find a lot of people in their 90s, right? or late 80s, and that's today.
Hmm.
20, 30, 40 years from now, we'll probably have even more number of people in their late 90s and mid 90s and whatnot. So that's why the balance between what if I die too early, so I want to live my life, what if I live too long, I don't want to be broke and homeless in my 70s, right? So now we categorize your financial plan in two parts then.
Mm-hmm.
One is the part that I cannot control. I cannot do anything about them other than just simply mitigating them and managing those risks.
For example?
Okay. Yeah, I'm coming to that. So I'm mitigating and managing those risks. And part two of the financial plan is the one where I can definitely control, shape, and manage those things with the help of my plan today and execute. So now let's take the example. Can I or you or anybody control our death?
Absolutely
We cannot.
not. Yeah.
Can I control that I will have a heart attack or no heart attack?
No.
Well, on the health side, maybe I
Oh,
can
yeah.
try
I
my
mean,
best,
yeah.
but I can't control it. If a heart attack will happen, it sometimes will happen to the best of the athletes and
Yeah,
it'll
to the
happen
healthy people as well.
healthiest of
Yeah.
the people, right? Some things might be genetic, some things might be just circumstantial too. So same way, can I control that if my wife and I would both die in a road accident and my kids are still 11 and 13 and 16, what would happen to them? I can't control that. Now, these are the things that are unexpected, uncontrolled, and we need to have this part of the plan, which is mitigating those risks, right? So that's risk mitigation. And now coming back to my analogy of the house, this is the foundation of your house. This is the basement of your house. You can't build a nice bathroom on the second floor until you have mitigated that risk. Because I may have a plan to put $100,000 in my retirement, TFSA, RSP, this property that I bought, a cryptocurrency and whatnot. But boom, year 4, I just died. Okay, now what happens to my 100,000 a year plan for 30 years, which was going to get me $10 million in retirement? It's all crumbled because I have not mitigated this portion. So that's where the basic starts from. So your risk management that includes all kinds of your life insurance, your health, your critical illness, your disability, which might be covered from your work, your extended health care. What if I had an illness where my medicines cost me $30 or $40 or $50,000 a year? Not everything is going to get covered by your health plan.
So you mean that is the first thing people should do while they are doing financial planning?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because without that, this is the one part that you cannot control, you can only mitigate. If you do not mitigate this part, then all those things that you are going to plan, they actually are just standing like a house of cards because there's no foundation on them, right? You have made no provision for those.
That's correct. I know many people who are already investing in stocks, but they don't have term insurance yet.
Because we have this invincibility. We have this invincibility that they're not going to die. And then, we also, people will talk things like, insurance is a scam. Or they will say, this insurance agent just wants to sell me stuff. Maybe a lot of those things may have some certain grain of truth to them. I'm not saying that it's not.
That is true somewhere. I mean,
that is true somewhere, right? However, just because somebody in the industry did not give you the right advice or tried to push a product on you that was not appropriate for you doesn't mean that that product is bad, right? So at the end of the day, so let's talk about the simple example that you bought a house for $500,000 and you have $400,000 insurance, $400,000 mortgage, and we determined on your lifestyle that you need $1 million insurance. But somebody else came and sold you an insurance product that was not a term, that was like maybe some permanent product, maybe some universal life product, and they sold you some $1,000 a month premium insurance to you, of course it's the inappropriate product at that point in time when you are just starting to build your life, because maybe it's an estate planning product and you don't even need an estate plan because you don't have an estate.
Got it.
Right? So now, does it mean that that permanent insurance product is a bad product? No, it just means that it was a round peg going into a square
it's just
hole.
not suitable for you right
It's
now.
just not suitable for you, and somebody sold it for the sake of making extra money. So yes, too bad. And every industry has those kind of bad players in it, but it doesn't mean that now you should not trust insurance.
Okay, we will break down this particular topic in another episode.
100%.
So I understand like this risk management should be at the first step. And
Yes.
going further, let's see, I did all these things, health insurance or the term insurance. So what's my next step now?
Sorry, and I would also add that this is not just about a financial advisor planner's job. Like, for example, having a proper will and a power of attorney, right? That's also risk mitigation.
Okay.
Because if you're not doing that, then everything else comes crumbling down again. Now that's you sitting down with your appropriate legal professional in your territory.
do the will? Lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends. Like if you are in Quebec or you're in Ontario, or maybe if you are in the United States, or maybe you're elsewhere.
Okay.
But whosoever is the appropriate legal professional in your territory, in your jurisdiction, you should sit down with them. And these are the things that you should not be cutting corners on, because I get people who say, oh, I can buy this $50 will. Yes, you can. Right? Nobody is stopping you from doing that. But as I said, you can go and diagnose your cancer on WebMD as well. Nobody is stopping you.
Yeah.
But is that the most appropriate thing to do? I don't know. I personally don't. But if that's something that you think that it's worth cutting the corners on, then do cut the corners.
I would love to do a complete podcast only on will sometime, maybe with some lawyer, because
With a lawyer.
I heard the stories like if your wife's name is not as a nominee in your bank account, right? Bank will not even allow you to open his or her account after his or death, right? So these are the like scariest story I have heard.
Oh,
about.
yes.
So these will, I think, can manage all this stress if you
Yes,
have
wills, even powers of attorney. Then the other big one for me, which is at the foundation, is debt reduction. Because if you're not really taking care of your debt at that point, and I'm not talking about good debt. Like, for example, you have a mortgage on your house, you could have it for 10, 20, 30 years. That's fine. It's a good debt. It's something that's building your asset. But if you have a credit card debt that's costing you 22%, 23% a month, and you don't take care of that, and you focus on going and buying cryptocurrency with the extra money, we have a problem, right? So those fundamentals and basics, when they are clear, now let's move on to the second territory, where we talk about all these things that can be controlled by you, shaped by you, managed by you, and you can actually plan them.
Okay.
And then you can execute them. So as you were asking, so that's the part two, or the second portion of a financial plan, in which we start from first of all that, okay, let's create wealth. Okay, so we're creating wealth. We may talk about retirement planning. We may talk about my home buying plan. We may talk about my kids' education plan. And then, of course, like you can talk about all the products that are available in your jurisdiction, because this is all universal. This is not Canada or US or Ontario or Quebec. No, this is universal. You can talk about the products that are appropriate in your territory. That, okay, in Canada we have RRSPs, in US you have 401ks, in Canada we have TFSA, you have Roth IRA, and so on, right? College education plan in the US in different states, and you have RESPs in Canada. So all of those
on a
things,
broader context, we are just talking about common sense, is it?
exactly. So this is where you start creating your wealth, right? So now our focus for the next few years might be creating wealth. So let's go back to the home analogy, that we built the basement. We are now building the main floor and all the basics that we need inside the house. That, okay, I need a room, I need a basic kitchen, I need a shower, or maybe a tub, and I need a couple of the toilets, and so on. This is my wealth creation now, right? Now, once I've gone through that step, now I start thinking bigger that, okay, you know what? I created wealth, but now I want to grow my wealth. And now I want my portfolio to be more and more diversified. So, hey, how about I buy an investment property now? How about I find some more alternate assets that are not available through my regular wealth creation that I was doing? So now I'm going to think about more things. And this is where the fundamental problem comes in, that you'll come across people who have not done any of the part 1 and 2 that we discussed, and they're straight away going into, oh, I need to buy a rental property. I'm like, okay, but have you done anything else around your retirement plan or anything else about your financial plan? No, but my property would be great. Really? Would it be? Because that's also one of the most tax inefficient items that you can actually add onto your portfolio, that you pay taxes on the income that you generate from your property, you pay capital gains tax. Throughout the process, you are also taking the pain of managing a tenant, maintaining, repairing, tenancy laws and whatnot, right? So why would you go to the most complicated thing first and not do the most basic things first, right? And I'm a big fan of real estate. I'm not saying don't buy it. And then the same thing comes in, that when people say, oh, real estate agents are bad or this and that, you know why? It's because it's not real estate is bad. It's because they might again be trying to sell you a piece of real estate as an investment when the rest of the financial plan is empty, right? So,
okay. So give a quick summary to the people. So we have talked about risk management as a first category, territory, or
Yep.
first step. Then we talked about second one, that is a wealth creation.
Yeah.
And then we are talking about portfolio creation, is it?
Or growing your wealth or growing your portfolio.
Portfolio is the
Yes.
third
Yeah.
territory,
Yeah.
right? Okay, I'll just quickly ask you. I will give you few terms or few attributes, and you just tell me where will you put in, right?
Okay.
So, term insurance,
That's like the most basic, your risk,
risk
management.
management. Okay, so where will you put like your will?
Again, in the risk management.
Where will you put first home, primary home?
In your wealth creation.
Okay, where will you put your rental home?
That would be in your growth, in your portfolio growth.
Third one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where will you put buying a gold?
Again, alternate assets and growing your portfolio.
Okay,
Yes, number
sounds
3.
good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Everything is clear in my mind
and
now.
then this is not the end, because after the 2, right? So again, you built the 2 floors of the house. You built all the basics. And now, according to me, the number 3 could be that, hey, you know what, let's beautify my kitchen. But
Okay.
you know what, you say it's not important for me. I want to beautify my bathroom, or I want to build a nice patio in my back. So the 3, 4, and 5 that we talk about in my model that you have printed out and you downloaded. So in my model, the 3, 4, and 5 that we talk about, those are still interchangeable, because somebody may say that, you know what, I don't want to grow my portfolio through all these alternate assets and gold and real estate and crypto and whatnot. I just want to focus on my legacy. Why did I come into this world? I want to donate my wealth to some causes. I want to make sure that the intergenerational wealth transfer to my kids and my grandkids happen in a very smooth and successful way, right? So now that's like from the pyramid point of view, that's the top of the pyramid. But nothing stops you from saying, you know what, that's what I want to focus on, because your foundation is already set, your home is already built, and now where you put the rest of the money inside the home, it's an endless pit. You can do whatever you want, right?
Okay.
Because at least things will not come crumbling down on you, right? You're not trying to build a nice bathroom without actually having a roof on the top.
So, in the initial steps, we were talking about creation, and on the top, we are talking about management.
Yes, absolutely. And in the end, it's even about transfer.
Transfer
right?
as well.
It's
And that's
about
the top one, is
legacy.
it? Okay.
Yes, legacy and transfer. Now, sometimes you may have to think about transfer 20, 30, 40 years in advance. So I'm not saying, oh, think about it when you are 80 years old, because that's too late. But it's still a process where what's important for you, what's the priority for you. Like, for example, I have clients where they will go and they will have like $40 million in real estate, and then they will go and spend $1 million or $2 million in buying a life insurance that they can have tax free in their portfolio, with which they can pay off all their taxes when they die. Okay, great idea. But hey, Chander, $100,000 a year life insurance is a great idea. Would you like to buy it? Like, come on. Are you and I the right candidates for that? Most likely not. Of course, I don't know enough about how many millions are you bearing or keeping under your pillow.
That's how we say in front of camera.
Yeah, but the point still is, right? That's a good product, but is that product appropriate for you? Is where the planning comes in, right? That planning is a very individual custom process. It's not something where you can say, okay, I've got this pyramid, I've got this model, now this model is a cookie cutter that will apply to everybody.
Wow, quite interesting. And the time is just passing away. It's flying. We are talking about more than 37 minutes now. So yeah, I think we are in the last section of our podcast. I have a couple of very direct questions. Let's say we were talking about ideal people and very common sense things, but sometimes people say that I don't want any risk management. I don't want to do like this or that. I just want to buy properties in the real estate. And do you face these kind of customers as well?
Yes, and I'm actually very much at peace with those people because our paths are different. They don't need me.
Okay.
And with all respect to them, I don't need them either. Because why talk about getting married if you know that it's going to lead to a divorce in 6 months?
Okay.
Right? Why date that person? So it's better to do. So I'm always open to discovery calls, which I call discovery calls. I'm very open to having that intro discovery call for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even if it's the wildest of the wild call. I'm okay with that because me sparing 20 minutes of my life to understand you or what you want from me and expect from me, that's the bare minimum that I can do for you. But beyond that, there's no point. Beyond that, there's no point. If you say to me that, no, I am enough, I can do this all by myself, 100% power to you. And maybe you can teach me a thing or two in the process. Second, I'm not going to follow anything that you're telling me. I want you to sell this to me because I'm here to buy XYZ. Sorry, it doesn't work this way. And some of your podcast listeners, and I'm hoping that nobody gets offended because I'm not naming you, but some of your podcast listeners might actually be one of those people who actually came to me and said, I'm looking for a $1 million life insurance for 20 years. Can you give me the quotes? And my standard response now, of course, it's honed over a period of. I'm like, okay, so hey Chander, do you have a family doctor? Oh yeah. I have a family doctor. My health is good. I'm like, no, hold on. I'm asking you a simple question. When was the last time that you went to your family doctor and said, give me an amoxicillin 500 milligrams for 14 days? Or do you go and say,
okay,
I have a sore throat, right? And then you guys discuss amongst each other. So
and let him decide what he's going to give you, right?
Yeah, and I'll still prescribe. I'm not coming to your house and putting that pill in your mouth. I'll prescribe to you. I'll say, based on all the conversations we had, yes, you do need a life insurance, but you need this much. And here are some of the best options for you. And I give those to you in writing so that my job is done, professionally done. I give you a summary of what we've talked about, and then I let it go. I say, okay, now, because you buy, it's not my job to sell, right? So that's very different from the person who's parked in your driveway and is already making the calculation on the calculator that I'm walking in today to Chander's house and I'm going to sell him $200 worth of life insurance a month, right? That is the one where you want to avoid that conversation.
Okay, quite interesting. I think I have lots of pointers for the next episodes now. It's quite interesting talks. The last question. So we talked about risk management, where the very basic things come, like term insurance and other things as well. So do you think, irrespective of your income, the risk management things should be there in your financial planning?
Yes, risk. See, whether you're making $50,000 a year or you're making $500 million a year, your risk is going to be based on you, right? So, of course, is $2 million life insurance enough? I don't know, because what's your lifestyle?
Your liabilities.
How would you like to maintain that lifestyle? And then the other issue comes in is that when you have a lower income, when you have a lower household income, you may not have the budget, right? So you may understand this very well. You may understand that, hey, you know what, like, this is great, this is wonderful. And my job is not to actually push you to bring this to a priority, because it's your job to find that priority. Because even when you're making $50,000, are you still not paying $150 or $200 a month for your car insurance? Why not? Why did you not stop driving the car? Right?
No.
Or are you still not paying, let's say, $40 or $50 for like your condo insurance? If you are, then you may actually want to put another $50 on the top of your priority to say that I want to at least have the bare minimum something.
That's
right?
an awesome analogy, though.
So that's basically the bottom line. Now, will I be able to convince you, push you, and persuade you to actually do this? No. That's not my job. My job is to educate you and put it in that context to say your $20,000 car is worth $200 a month of insurance, and you, the ATM of your family, making $5,000 a month is not worth $50 a month to actually, like, preserve or mitigate the risk. Then good for you.
I specifically asked this question because I heard many a time that people say, I don't earn enough to think about these financial planning things. So that's why I asked you this question. But your analogy fits very well, that if we are paying for car insurance, irrespective of what we are, earning, right? If we have car, we are paying for insurance. If we have house, even if we are tenant, we are paying for tenant insurance as well. All right. Thank you so much for this interesting discussion and talk. And I look forward for many more episodes where we will break down these specific topics, or I'll say subtopics within the financial service or financial advisory sector. Once again, thank you so much, and looking forward for more podcasts.
Thank you so much, Chander. Thank you. It's a pleasure as always.
Thank you.